Scene. A bustling law office. Papers fly, phones ring. Taehyung paces, tie. Loosened, frustration etched on his face. YN enters with a stack of files. YN. The Johnson case files, Mr. Kim. Everything's in order. Taehyung. Sighs good. We need all the order we can get with this mess. They want to throw out the entire contract based on a missing comma. YN. A comma. Seriously. Raises an eyebrow, didn't you tell them? Precedent clearly establishes. Taehyung. I did. But their lawyer seems to have eaten a thesaurus for breakfast. Every sentence is a convoluted mess. Runs a hand through his hair. YN. A small smile, maybe we should counter with some legalese of our own. Drown them in legalese. Taehyung. Looks up, that's actually not a bad idea. You know, for someone who constantly complains about legalese. YN. Playfully nudges his arm, hey, it's only boring when it's coming from you. Silence hangs in the air for a beat too long. Taehyung clears his throat. Taehyung. Right. Legalese. Let's draft a response that would make Blackstone himself weep. They work side by side for a while, comfortable silence punctuated by the rustle of papers and the tap-tap of keyboards. YN. Yawns, it's getting late. Maybe we should call it a night. Taehyung. Looks at her, concern flickering in his eyes, you look exhausted. Go home, get some rest. I can handle this. YN. Are you sure? Taehyung. Positive. Besides, you'll be useless tomorrow if you're running on fumes. YN. Sighs, fine. But promise me you'll actually get some sleep too, not pull an all-nighter. Taehyung. A genuine smile breaks out on his face, I promise. Now, off you go. YN. Fine. But if I find you fueled by coffee and willpower alone tomorrow, I'm ordering you to bed myself. Taehyung. Laughs, noted, Your Highness. YN gathers her things and heads for the door. She hesitates with a hand on the knob. YN. Thanks for today, Taehyung. Taehyung. Softly, anytime, YN. A beat of silence. YN bites her lip and turns back. YN. Hey, Taehyung. Taehyung. Yeah. YN. Maybe we could, grab some coffee sometime. Not law related. Coffee. Just, you know, coffee. Taehyung. Surprise gives way to a wide grin, I'd like that. YN smiles back, a blush creeping up her cheeks. She throws him a playful wink before exiting, leaving Taehyung staring after her, a hopeful smile lingering on his lips. Scene. A small, cozy coffee shop a few days later. Taehyung fidgets in his seat, stealing glances at YN across the table. She's engrossed in a book. But Taehyung can't help but feel a thrill every time she looks up and their eyes meet. Taehyung clears throat, so, your book any good? YN jumps a little, startled out of her focus, oh. Yeah. It's, interesting. Taehyung chuckles, right, law books are riveting. YN scoffs playfully, hey, at least they put me to sleep faster than your endless legal rants. Taehyung raises an eyebrow, is that so? Maybe I should take offense. YN. A teasing smile on her lips, please do. Because a grumpy Taehyung is a very entertaining Taehyung. Taehyung. Feigning hurt, I'm hurt, YN. Deeply. YN reaches across the table, her fingers brushing against his as she sets her book down, don't worry, Counselor Kim. I wouldn't have you any other way. A blush creeps up Taehyung's neck. He opens his mouth to speak, but hesitates. YN notices his struggle, is something wrong? Taehyung takes a deep breath, no, everything's fine. It's just, this isn't exactly how I pictured spending my Saturday afternoon. YN. A flicker of disappointment in her eyes, oh. Well, if you'd rather be somewhere else. Taehyung cuts her off quickly, no. That's not what I meant at all. I I actually pictured it more like this, but with maybe a little less paperwork. He reaches into his briefcase and pulls out a single red rose, placing it on the table between them. YN. Eyes widen in surprise, then soften into a smile. Taehyung. Taehyung rubs the back of his neck, a nervous smile on his face. I know this is unprofessional. But I wanted to ask you out. Properly this time. On a date. YN picks up the rose, tracing a finger along the velvety petal. Taehyung, this is amazing. Taehyung, hopeful. So, does that mean? YN looks up at him, her eyes sparkling. It means I'd love to go on a date with you. But only if you promise to ditch the legalese for the entire evening. Taehyung laughs with relief. Consider it done. They share a smile, the air crackling with unspoken emotions. As they fall into conversation once more, this time filled with easy laughter and genuine connection, it's clear that their love story is just beginning. Scene: the office hallway. Taehyung bumps into YN with a stack of files. Taehyung, whoa, careful there. My apologies. YN grins. No worries, clumsy lawyer. Taehyung playfully bumps her shoulder. Hey. I resemble that remark, messy assistant. YN laughs. Speaking of messy, did you see Michael's tie? It's a disaster. Taehyung, trying not to stare at her, couldn't tear my gaze away from the reports, unfortunately. YN. A beat of silence, then a nudge. Sure you weren't looking at something else, Counselor Kim. Taehyung catches her eye, a blush creeping up his neck. Maybe. But that information remains privileged. They both laugh, the air crackling with unspoken feelings. The office door swings open, and Dwight emerges. Dwight, is there a reason you two are blocking the hallway? Public displays of affection are a violation of company policy. YN snatches her files. Nothing to see here, Dwight. Just discussing legal matters. Very important legal matters. Taehyung forces a smile. Absolutely, Ms. Min. Highly confidential legal discussions. Dwight squints at them suspiciously. HMPH. See that you are. Now move along. Dwight walks away. Taehyung and YN exchange a look, a silent promise hanging between them. They may have to be careful, but the spark is undeniable. Scene: Taehyung's office. The late afternoon sun cast an orange glow through the blinds as Taehyung reviewed files with YN. Papers rustled, but the silence between them was electric. YN, everything set for Thompson? Finally asked, her voice uncharacteristically soft. Taehyung, almost, his gaze lingering on her a beat too long. There's just one discrepancy in the client-attorney agreement. YN raised an eyebrow, a playful smile tugging at her lips. A discrepancy, Mr. Kim? Taehyung took a step closer, his heart hammering against his ribs. It seems it allows for a brief expression of appreciation under certain circumstances. YN leaned in, her eyes sparkling. Appreciation, huh? How fascinating. Before she could speak further, Taehyung cupped her face and pressed a quick kiss to her lips. He pulled away, breathless, a nervous smile on his face. Taehyung, there, he murmured, does that sufficiently express my gratitude? YN's cheeks flushed a beautiful pink. A slow smile spread across her face. YN, maybe, she whispered, but for a lawyer, Mr. Kim, your interpretation of loopholes is a little flawed. Taehyung chuckled, relief washing over him. Then perhaps, he said, his voice husky, further negotiation is required, Ms. Min. Their eyes met, a silent promise hanging in the air. The work was done, but something new, something exciting, had just begun.